startling, one of the most disappointing, disheartening events in the history of our sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
FeverMania.
How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. And this is our very special Fever Dream Mania show. If you have watched our show and checked out any of our Fever Dream matches episodes, basically we have a random name generator. We have various lists of talent. We have female talent, male talent. We have belts, gimmicks, and managers and tag teams. We have them all in separate lists, and we put them in a name generator, and depending on what type of match we want to see, we pull out those various names that come up, and we decide who we think would win in those matches. And in this case, because it's a special Fever Dream Mania episode, Leonard and I will be partaking in some of our beverages of choice. I've got the NWO glass here. When you put a dark beer in there, this is a stout. When you put a dark beer in there, it becomes NWO black and white, which is cool. Leonard?
I forgot to go get something new, so I will be drinking Squirrel's peanut butter whiskey, as I did last time, but I will be straight shooting it. No frou-frou drink for me, and I will be drinking it out of a skull glass in honor of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And if he does pop up, I will do a shot in honor of him in the skull glass.
Yes.
And I was going to say, we're going to do a shot if the Backlash poster falls again, and it did. So I'm gonna pour a shot, and I think this is 2 shots. I think I'm gonna do half a glass each time, because I have to stay halfway decent through most.
Lightweight over here. All right.
Yeah, I don't drink much anymore.
So we're also gonna drink if a wrestler comes up where they end up facing themselves.
Yes.
If we disagree on the winner, and
I'm gonna throw in one if someone pops up and we don't think they deserve to be on Fever Dream Mania.
There you go.
Like, these are trimmed lists. These are supposed to be the cream of the cream, top of the crop. But if someone pops, and these are lists that Chad did. I haven't really looked at them. I eyeballed them. But if someone comes up and I'm like, they don't deserve to be on Fever Dream Mania, I'm gonna do a shot. Or half a shot. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna do half of this at a time. That's all I know.
That doesn't look like a regulation shot glass, but
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it may be a shooter, which would be about 3 fingers. But I'm gonna do half of it at a time.
All right. Well, sometimes we have dark matches on here, and Leonard will be surprised by this one.
Oh God.
I have a dark match prepared, and it is a list that he has no idea what it is, because I created a short list.
Okay.
Of fictional wrestling characters, and that is going to be our first match is 1-on-1.
I'm excited,
and I am doing the names right now. And
so these would be wrestlers from TV shows, movies, books that do not exist in real life.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. And so, all right. So we have Randy the Ram Robinson.
I knew he was going to pop up.
From The Wrestler. Yeah. Against the revolting blob from Billy Madison. so
I was hoping it was going to be Thunder Lips from Rocky 3. I hope it was going. I was hoping for Thunder Lips. I knew he would be. I was hoping for Thunder Lips. You know what? I got to go with Randy the Ram here. I think he is the better wrestler. I think he's the more known talent. Again, the revolting blob. More of a comedy joke guy. I'm gonna go with, now if it was Captain Insano from The Waterboy, right?
Yeah,
that would be a different story. But I'm gonna go with Randy the Ram.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Although I think the revolting blob has killed somebody in the ring, as Billy Madison taught us. He sat on somebody and didn't let him up for air. So hey. This guy's a badass when he wants to be. But yes, I would have to say Randy the Ram. If he's still alive and his heart isn't bothering him, I would say he comes up the victor here. But that's our dark match. Our first match is also 1-on-1, and it is with the males. Our opening match is going to be Sergeant Slaughter, the AWA G.I. Joe version, of Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, okay.
Against Farouk.
So Sergeant Slaughter will be managed by Precious Paul Ellering, and Farouk will be managed by Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart.
Okay. So, Leonard, I'm going to throw it to you again first here. Sergeant Slaughter, AWA G.I. Joe version of Sergeant Slaughter against Farouk. Who comes up the victor?
You know, this feels right because I think Farouk could be a Cobra character.
Yeah, that's true.
With the gimmick and the costume and all, that could be a Cobra character. I definitely think that Paul Ellering matches better with Slaughter than Jimmy Hart matches with Farouk.
Yeah.
I think you want the face to go over in your opener. I think Sarge is the bigger name at this point. I'm going with Slaughter. I'm going with Slaughter for storyline, and because it makes for a hot opener if the face goes over. And I just think he's the bigger name having the G.I. Joe tie-in.
Yeah, I think this era of Slaughter, he was still in really, really good condition. And I think that this would be a really good power match. You know, you probably have the Nation Domination come down to get involved. And I think Slaughter prevails here as the American hero. And, you know, maybe everybody in the audience gets a G.I. Joe figure for the troubles. But our next match, Leonard, will be you coordinating it. And
yes,
it'll be the women one-on-one.
Yeah. One-on-one women's match. We have Dr. Britt Baker, real-life dentist, current star at AEW, versus Charlotte Flair as a heel.
Oh, wow.
So Baker does not have a designation. Of course, I believe she's working heel at the time of this recording. Lord knows. But so I would say Baker's face by default versus heel Charlotte Flair. Your thoughts first.
You know what? I think that this would be a good match, and it's probably, you know, a low-key dream match that people would love to see in a perfect world. Charlotte Flair is obviously one of the longer-running female talents, and she, you know, it gets better and better, I think. Dr. Britt Baker is still on the rise, and I like her work a lot too, even her promo work. I don't know if we're going to agree here, Leonard, but I would pick Dr. Britt Baker to go over here. I think that she would be a little bit more aggressive. The lights out match that we just saw with her in Thunder Rosa was fantastic. And I think that this would be close, but I gotta pick the doctor here.
If this was heel Baker versus face Flair, I might agree with you. But I think a heel Charlotte would be just as aggressive as Britt Baker. I think Baker has a high ceiling, but I don't think we've seen her highest potential yet. I think she's getting there. So just the fact that at the time of this recording, which I love to say, Charlotte Flair has achieved more and has peaked more than what Britt Baker has at this point, I would have to go with Charlotte Flair as the winner here. And since we disagree, that means we take a shot.
Absolutely.
Of course, I'm shooting, you're drinking beer, so.
That's true.
This was way better with the milk and the chocolate liqueur, let me tell you.
All right. So next we have the tag team match, 2-on-2 for a belt. And we're not going to use the belt generator here. Since we do have tag teams, we'll just call this for the Nitty Gritty Unified Galaxy Tag Team Championship.
I'm down.
And we have maybe not the most exciting match we've ever had.
Okay.
We have Evolution, specifically Triple H and Ric Flair,
okay,
against Show Miz.
I don't, you know what? Yeah, I don't know if I want to say Show Miz doesn't deserve to be here. Because I kind of think they do. Because Show and Miz are both good talents. I think they're underrated talents. I think some people get on when they don't deserve it. And combining them here as a tag team is a way to work. Like, this feels like something that WWE would have done to use them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that's fair. I'm gonna be fair to Flair. Say that's a fair use of Show Miz. Versus Evolution, Ric Flair, and the Triple H version. If this was Orton Batista, I could make an argument for Show Miz. But with Triple H, Flair being the bigger names, and I assume they're working heel, and they're going to cheat their asses off, particularly Flair. I'm going to call this. I'm going to say that the heels lose, and then that Show Miz gets into an argument afterwards, and that Show turns on Miz because the Show has to have a turn.
So you're picking
Evolution for the win with a post-match heel turn by Big Show.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you here. I think that the Big Show has been in so many tag teams over the years, and I don't think this was one of the better ones. I definitely think Triple H and Ric Flair would be more cohesive as a tag team, so I definitely see them going over here. Mm. And our next match, Leonard, is going to be a men's triple threat, and with a gimmick. And I will pull the gimmick if you pull the men.
Oh, shit. This is a no-shitter.
Okay.
This is a no-shitter.
So before you read the names, I'll just say I'll say our gimmick first this time. These men will be in a regular steel cage.
Regular standard steel cage match. Okay.
Yep.
We have the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, versus X-Pac versus Sixx.
Oh, and I'm glad I dragged.
I believe it's the first time. I believe it's the first time that we've had a guy against himself. Of course, X-Pac and Sixx are both Sean Waltman, who started out as the 1-2-3 kid. 1 + 2 + 3 makes 6. And then when he returned to the WWE after having been in WCW, he was X-Pac. So I will take my shot here as you give your thoughts on who would win this cage match.
Well, what's funny is that Sean Waltman as the kid would be a part of the $1 Million Corporation for a little bit there, but that is not a character in this. We have Sixx and X-Pac against the $1 Million Man. Well, it's not a handicap match. I made it sound like that. It's triple threat, but
it's a triple threat. Although I would assume that X-Pac and Sixx would work together.
Yeah. Well, our heads might explode if we think about this too much. I'm going to pick the $1 Million Man here. I think that X-Pac was certainly the superior version of the Sean Waltman catalog. Mm-hmm. Sixx was a popular version as well, and he had some good matches, cruiserweight matches in WCW. But I think the $1 Million Man is just too intelligent of a wrestler, too skilled in the ring, and I don't think Sean Waltman is enough for him overall. So I'm picking the $1 Million Man here.
I've got to agree. I think Sixx and X-Pac might cancel each other out, depending on how they would work together against each other. But DiBiase was definitely the better talent, especially in the prime point of his career. I kind of like the cage match element to it because I could see DiBiase working both guys against the cage. I would say Sixx and X-Pac both blade. But definitely DiBiase wins, whether it's escape. It's probably via the door.
When X-Pac blades, does Sixx automatically get cut, or do they have blades separate?
No. I envision this as like a parallel universe thing.
Yeah, okay.
Like where we grabbed Sixx from this universe over here,
the Wrestleverse.
X-Pac, the Wrestleverse, and just brought them through the portal. And that's how I envision it. So I'm gonna go DiBiase with the win as well, just for being the superior talent. And I think even though DiBiase didn't do a lot of cage matches, I think the cage match favors him.
Yeah, and so we should also call this $1 Million Man against the two of the faces of Waltman. Mm-hmm. That could be a cool tagline. Imagine the crowd getting psyched for this, knowing that both versions are going to be there. Anyway, so Leonard, you are pulling our next match.
Oh, it's a fatal 4-way. Okay. I only had 2 up, so let me get the 4 and see who we get this time. All right. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call this a drink because it's someone working twice. Charlotte Flair, the Queen version. So Queen Charlotte Flair. So since Charlotte's working twice in the same night, even though they're different versions, I'm going to take a drink, but I'll give you the other people here. Melina, Mildred Burke. I've already had too many. And the face version of Sasha Banks.
Ooh, that's tough.
All right, so you contemplate that again. Queen Charlotte Flair versus Melina versus Mildred Burke versus the face version of Sasha Banks. I want to be able to say that clearly and distinctly.
Well, I think Mildred Burke, sees Melina's entrance and takes her outside the ring and tries to slap some sense into her, being a bit old school. So I think that this comes down to Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair, and those two have had so many terrific matches over the years. But as much as I voted against her before, I would say our new women's champion would be Charlotte Flair.
And it's not just because I don't want to take another shot so quick. I would agree with the Queen version of Charlotte Flair. I know who Mildred Burke is. Of course, I'm not that familiar with her. Melina, I don't think is necessarily a great talent. I said I would take a shot if I didn't think someone deserved to be here, but I'm just not going to do that right now. Melina, has her finer points, but yeah, this comes down to Flair versus Banks. If it's a heel version of Banks, maybe. The face version I always felt was a little softer. Queen version of Charlotte is one of the better versions. So yeah, I would agree with you and go Charlotte Flair. Now, before we pop on, I would like to mention that before you told me it was a 4-way, I had already generated 2 female names. So as a bonus match, what do you think about AJ Lee versus Ronda Rousey?
Ooh. I obviously I'd have to go with Rousey here. I like AJ Lee a lot, but Rousey is still a badass enough to beat her. So,
I never liked AJ Lee as much as a lot of other people did, and I think she's way too small against someone like Rousey, who's, as you mentioned, a badass. So yeah, I think it would be a mauling and probably a squash.
All right. So our next match I'm going to pull here, I already have, and it is going to be a mixed tag.
Okay.
So here is our mixed tag. We have Dude Love teaming with Tessa Blanchard against the TNA version of Samoa Joe and Stephanie McMahon and I put a gimmick in here, in a barbed wire steel cage.
All right, if this was just Samoa Joe versus Dude Love in a barbed wire steel cage, that's a great fucking match.
It really is.
I would watch that. I love Dude Love. To mention, I've mentioned that I've done the fantasy wrestling draft thing. I'm doing a long-term one right now, and I have Mick Foley. And I've just recently started, I had a brand split, and I've restarted Memphis Up with Jerry Lawler and Randy Savage and Austin Idol and Eddie Gilbert and those guys. But I've turned, I'm going to use Cactus Jack as Dude Love. And I'm going to feud him with Kerry Von Erich.
There you go.
Just for fun. So anyway, so you've got Dude Love and Tessa Blanchard versus Samoa Joe and Stephanie McMahon. I would love to know how those people became teams and how we got to this point.
Yeah, how it ended in a barbed wire steel cage.
In a barbed wire steel cage at that. I would say the better overall team. See, it's tough because I would say that Samoa Joe, especially the TNA version, so we're talking in his prime Samoa Joe, is better than Dude Love, which was kind of an off-kilter, one-note joke character by Mick Foley towards the latter half of his career. Tessa Blanchard is, of course, a much better wrestler than Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie's okay in the ring. I should say that I have Tessa Blanchard, too, that she is part of the new women's division that I'm putting together. So this is a tough one. I would say that the barbed wire steel cage favors Dude Love and Tessa Blanchard. I think it would be awesome to see Tessa Blanchard like rake Stephanie over the wire. People would go nuts for that. I think people would go bananas. I assume that Joe and Steph are working heel.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. I'm gonna go Dude Love and Tessa Blanchard. I like that matchup a lot better. It's fun. I think the steel cage, as I mentioned, the barbed wire cage favors them more. I think Tessa is higher above Steph than Joe is above Dude Love. So I'm going Love Tessa.
Well, get prepared to drink here, Leonard, because
you dumb bitch.
I got to disagree with you. I got to go with Stephanie McMahon and Samoa Joe. I think that this would be a fun match all around. I really think that this would be, even if it wasn't in a steel cage, I think that this would be a lot of fun. I don't know if I agree about the steel cage favoring Dude Love, because as that one promo where they all the faces have fully got together, Dude Love is a lover more than a fighter, and he had to have Cactus Jack come in to do the really hardcore stuff. So I think that Samoa Joe and Stephanie McMahon are a good heel team, and I think that there's going to be shenanigans somehow to make sure that they end up the victors. So if we ever have a mixed tag belt, we're going to have to iron out a division there.
Yeah. You know what? I think after you made your argument, I would agree with you, but I can't take the shot back. So there you go.
So Leonard, you can pull our next match. It's going to be a number one contenders match for our Galaxy Unified Nitty Gritty World Title. And it's going to be one-on-one.
One-on-one. Guys, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So here you go. This is a match that maybe happened. We'd have to look it up. But it is Stunning Steve Austin versus the WCW version of Rick Rude.
Ooh.
So since this is Stunning and not Stone Cold, I'm not going to take a skull shot. Because I said Stone Cold. So I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
So I should mention that this number one contender will not get a title shot tonight at this event, but I think this would be a really good match, and it probably has happened. But I think that both guys were really good in this era. I still think Rick Rude was really good. He was having some superb matches in WCW. But Steve Austin was really, really good here too. So I'd have to go with Stunning Steve here. I think that Austin's style here was much more fluid and, versatile. So I think that he would get the edge on the veteran here.
I am Googling real quick, and I have found on Sting and Ricky Steamboat versus Rick Rude and Steve Austin as a tag match. But I'm not finding a one-on-one. Maybe that did happen. I'd have to dig more. But anyway.
You're saying I should drink it?
Yeah. I like both of these guys here a lot during this version. This was, you would say that Ravishing Rick Rude in the WWF was peak Rude. But this version achieved a lot. Had great matches with some great opponents. Did have a belt. Of course, that is a whole muddy territory what that belt was at the time. Stunning Steve, I like Stunning Steve a lot. Again, going back to the long-term fantasy league that I'm doing, I'm using Steve Austin as Stunning Steve Austin because that is a more interesting character to me at this point than what Stone Cold is. So, but I would have to agree with you that Rick Rude being more the veteran, I think would beat Stunning Steve Austin at this point in his career. So I would agree with you that Rick Rude would take it here based on his veteran experience. And if you have not seen Rude during this run, it's underrated. I would highly check out a lot of the matches they had against the likes of like Sting and Steamboat.
Absolutely. Well, we have reached our main event, Leonard.
And I should say that's a great number one contenders match.
I think so.
Those two guys, like that makes sense to be a number one contenders match.
Absolutely. And our main event is usually a fatal 4-way. That's what we're going to do here.
Okay.
And our champion is AWA Hulk Hogan. And one of our number one contenders is NWA Ric Flair, if you recall, Leonard.
I couldn't remember who it was. So, woo!
And I got a doozy for you.
Okay.
They are going to be facing, it'll be AWA Hulk Hogan against NWA Ric Flair against pre-UFC Brock Lesnar against Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid heel version, fatal 4-way.
Okay.
For the title. Who is it that stands tall here, Leonard? I know this is a tough one.
This is okay. Michael takes the pin.
That was a really quick.
Well, because the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels heel version is a getting going, starting up version of singles version Shawn Michaels.
That's true.
So he definitely takes the pin. I think you want a face to go over, being that this is your main event of Fever Dream Mania. So definitely, I know that. So pre-UFC Brock Lesnar would be what, first run WWE?
Yep.
God, that's a good version of Brock Lesnar. NWA Flair is, of course, going to be working heel. And he's going to sell his ass off. You're going to get all the greatest hits. You're going to get the Flair flop. You're going to get him getting tossed off the top. You're going to get him like flipping over the turnbuckle and like running the apron. You're going to get all this. But he's going to get his ass kicked too. I mean, Shawn and Flair are going to bump like crazy for Lesnar and Hogan. So I think this comes down to AWA Hogan versus UFC Brock Lesnar. I believe Lesnar's working heel. Hogan, of course, is the face. This is the best version of Hulk Hogan, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Fantastic matches. This may be the best version of Brock Lesnar. You can make arguments for other versions. He's a little green at this time. He's still coming up. Of course, he achieved a lot very early on in his career.
It depends on what phase of this run you go for, really. I mean,
true. It's a pretty large window if we're saying just pre-UFC. So that would be.
If you're looking at the Brock. Well, go ahead. You finish your thoughts. I'll explain my thoughts.
Okay, I was gonna say if you're talking from like debut to that point, there's a lot in there. But being that I want the face to go over in the main event, being that I like the idea of someone holding the title for a while, and Hogan just got it from us. I am, and I feel a shot coming on, but I'm going to go with AWA Hulk Hogan to retain.
Oh, wow. See, I'm surprised there. So this is a tough one for me. I think I see Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels and Flair kind of teaming up on AWA Hogan. I think Shawn Michaels gives him a super kick, gives Hogan a super kick, puts him out for a little bit. And so then I see them trying to team up against Lesnar. And as I was saying, the Lesnar that that we saw right up until he left, like had a lot of different holds. Like he had the F5, of course, but he also had the Brock Lock, which is like such an underrated. It's a muffler stretch.
Yeah,
that's what it is. But I loved it. I think that in the end, though, and see, this is what we're not going to agree here, Leonard, and because this is such a tough lineup, and I really don't know how we resolve this. I guess in this case, if we disagree, AWA Hogan would have to stay the champion.
Right. I would. You know what? You know what? Well, it's a fatal 4-way. Can you have a DQ? Because I was going to say I would allow Brock to win by DQ, but I don't think that happens in a 4-way. I was gonna pick NWA Flair here. Oh, were you going to take NWA Flair? The way you're talking about, you're going to take Brock.
I think that it Flair is, it's the dirtiest player in the game. This is peak Flair. Mm-hmm. I think that he comes out of the woodwork and either, turns on Shawn Michaels in the match and decides to pin him while Lesnar and Hogan are battling it out on the outside, or he, gets the figure 4 on Lesnar. So I would pick NWA Flair here.
Okay. Here's what here's the finish I'm gonna give you since we disagreed. It is that I'm gonna have Hogan is pinning Lesnar while Flair is pinning Shawn Michaels at the exact same time. There's a second referee because the first one took a bump, and the referees both count the same pinfall at the same time. And since it's a tie, so they both achieve pinfalls at the same time, Hogan would retain the title, and of course Ric Flair would lobby for a rematch. And I say next Fever Dream Mania, the main event is straight up NWA Ric Flair versus AWA Hulk Hogan with a gimmick and with managers. So we have something else to add against them. And since we did disagree, I'm going to finish what I'm drinking.
Absolutely. And, Stunning Steve Austin is going to be upset with this. And,
I thought we said Rude won. I thought we gave Rude that.
Did you pick Rude?
I thought you picked Rude.
No, I picked Stunning Steve.
Oh, well, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do.
Did you pick Rude?
I thought I did pick Rude. I don't know. I've had to wait too much. Here's what we're going to do. You know how I've had too much? Because I keep repeating the same words over and over again. Next Fever Dream Mania, the main event is already booked. It's going to be NWA Ric Flair versus AWA Hulk Hogan versus Stunning Steve Austin versus WCW version Rick Rude with a gimmick, and the heels will have managers.
All right.
And I believe that would be
everybody but
Hogan is going to have a manager.
Yeah. Everybody but Hogan gets a manager. That's a stacked deck right there. But that's what we're going to do. Let's do love against Stone Cold at Over the Edge right there.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. That's going to be the main event. So all of you out there watching, what the main event in the next Fever Dream Mania is going to be, and that should get you excited to see
Absolutely.
So what would that be? Would that be Fever Slam? We're not up to Fever Slam yet. That would be in the summer.
Can we pick the gimmick now?
Yeah, do it. Yeah, go ahead.
Give a teaser. So
yeah,
this main event is going to be an ambulance match.
Oh, nice. So it's a fatal 4-way ambulance match, right? So
yeah. So you might have
just one dude.
You might have multiple people getting put in multiple ambulances. We're not sure yet if there's more than one ambulance or.
Okay, here we go. I've pulled the managers. So NWA Ric Flair is going to be managed by Lana.
God, that fits them.
Stunning Steve Austin is going to be managed by Sonny.
That also fits.
And you know what? Sonny is actually managing Steve Austin in my fantasy fed right now. I swear to God. And Rick Rude will be managed by Gary Hart.
That I don't know if that fits.
That I don't think fits as well. He should have got a lady too. But so you already know the main event. The main event of the next Fever Dream show, which we have yet to title, is going to be AWA Hulk Hogan versus Nature Boy Ric Flair, NWA version with Lana, versus Stunning Steve Austin with Sonny, versus WCW version Rick Rude with Gary Hart in an ambulance match.
That's right. And that'll be a barn burner for sure.
That is asses and seats right there.
Well, everybody will have to tune in. If you enjoyed these, I'm almost positive we're going to keep doing them. So.
Yeah, that we love these. This may be the most fun thing for me that we do.
Absolutely.
One, it's little preparation, and two, as you know, I love the fantasy book. So doing these is just so much fun for me. Next time we're not going to drink though. If we do, I'm going to have to get something else. Because the peanut butter is a little too much with the whiskey if you're just shooting it straight.
Well, while Leonard recovers from his peanut butter whiskey, my name is Chad. Let us know what you think about these matches. Leonard is going to come back at you next time we do Fever Dream Mania. He will have multiple whiskeys ready to go. Right, Leonard? No?
Yeah, I'm going to make some Bruno San Martinis up.
There you go. That has to be amazing, whatever it is. So we thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.